Public meetings of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Holy Qom. The house of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in the holy city of Qom hosted another round of the public meetings of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi. In these meetings, the Grand Jurist meets various groups of seminarians, clerics, religious scholars, activists, and the public groups of people. Discussions on Islamic fiqh and beliefs are also part of these meetings. Sayyid Ahmed Shirazi attends Ashura commemorations in Kuwait. Sayyid Ahmed Shirazi, son of the Grand Shia jurist Ayatollah Shirazi, took part in religious commemorative ceremonies hosted at Rasul Adam Husseiniya in Kuwait, coinciding with the day of Ashura on 10th of Muharram. During the ceremony, many cultural and religious figures, as well as the public groups of Shia believers, met with the Grand jurist's son. Social figures meet PR manager of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Holy Karbala, Iraq. Sayyid Arif Nasrullah, the PR manager of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in the holy city of Karbala, hosted groups of social figures and managers of Husseini Mawakib over the past few days. During these meetings, some Shia believers from Iran, some members of the Ali Muhammad community from Najaf, and several other religious activists met with the PR manager of the Grand Jurist and discussed ways to improve on these services provided to pilgrims during the months of Muharram and Safar. Shia Rights Watch warns of humanitarian disaster in Afghanistan. Shia Rights Watch warns of a humanitarian catastrophe in Afghanistan after the country fell into the hands of the Taliban. To address these concerns, this human rights organization published a statement that reads as follows. In view of the indiscriminate killings of innocent people by Taliban terrorist group in Afghanistan, Shia Rights Watch calls on the international community to do whatever they can to downsize the scopes of this humanitarian catastrophe. Multiple reports uncover brutal killings of Shia Muslims in many cities and villages, after which thousands of people have been displaced. Shia Rights Watch holds the UN Security Council and other legal bodies accountable for what is happening in Afghanistan. Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi mourns martyrdom of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, in Damascus, Syria. The office of the Grand Shia jurist Ayatollah Shirazi in Damascus, Syria, holds series of religious commemorative ceremonies to mourn the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, during the first 10 days of the month of Muharram. This office hosted large numbers of cultural and religious figures, and the general public participated in these ceremonies. Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi mourns martyrdom of Imam Sajjad, peace be upon him, in Kabul, Afghanistan. The office of the Grand Jurist Ayatollah Shirazi in Kabul, Afghanistan, mourns the anniversary of the martyrdom of Imam Sajjad, peace be upon him, on the 12th day of the month of Muharram. Many cultural and religious figures, as well as the public groups of Shia believers, participated in this ceremony and mourned this occasion. Managers of Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi welcome Bani Assad mourning procession. The managers and members of the Office of the Grand Shia jurist Ayatollah Shirazi in the holy city of Karbala, along with some members of the Bin Fathili Seminary, welcomed the Bani Assad mourning procession on the 13th of the month of Muharram. This mourning procession consists of tens of thousands of Shia mourners who march towards the holy shrine of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him. This symbolic procession commemorates the anniversary of the burial of the martyrs of Karbala at the hands of Imam Sajjad, peace be upon him, and the members of the Bani Assad tribe. Many religious figures, representatives of great Islamic authorities, cultural and social figures, members of Iraqi tribes, and thousands of other believers take part in this mourning procession. Representative of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi delivers lecture at Beirut Cultural-Islamic Foundation. Sheikh Jalal Ma'ash, the representative of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi, visited the Beirut Cultural and Islamic Center, where he delivered a speech to the Shia community in the city. In his remarks, the Grand Jurist representative discussed various topics, such as the sanctity of the land of Karbala, the miracles in the Husseini commemorations, and the sacred cause of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him. AhlulBayt Center mourns martyrdom of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, in Madagascar. AhlulBayt Islamic Center, affiliated with the Office of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Mahajanga city of Madagascar, mourns the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, on the 13th of Muharram. Groups of Shia believers and lovers of AhlulBayt, peace be upon them, participated in this ceremony and honored this day. AhlulBayt Institute sends delegations to visit Husseini Mawakib in Basra, Iraq. AhlulBayt Cultural and Charitable Institute, affiliated with the Office of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Basra, continues to send delegations to visit the Husseini Mawakib and religious communities in this city. In all these visits, some presents such as religious flags and books written by the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi were donated to these Mawakib. Delegates from al-Banin Institute visit Husseini Mawakib in Maysan province of Iraq. Some delegates from the al-Banin Institute affiliated with the office of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Maysan province of Iraq made visits to several religious communities and Husseini commemorative ceremonies in this province. Sheikh Saad ad-Duraji, the director of the al-Banin Institute, headed these delegations and relayed the prayers and instructions of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi. It is worth noting that the al-Banin Institute hosted some commemorative ceremonies during this year's Muharram.